Okay, we are now recording. Um, so over here, we have Kim Ruiz. She is actually known as Glow, the rapper out of San Antonio.
Hi.
And then here we have Whitney. I keep calling you Alicia. Whitney from Alicia and Whitney. We have Dell, the drummer from Natural State. We have Rose. She's brand new, starting tomorrow. So she's a worship leader out of Texas, but close to Arkansas. Pretty close to. Hey, there you are. Okay, and then this right here is Natasha Phillips from Atlanta.
How are you? Hello, everyone.
And the one that just popped in on the bottom, that's Alicia from Alicia and Whitney. I've already called Whitney Alicia 3 or 4 times, so I'm glad you're here so I can now say Whitney. Now say Alicia. Anyway.
We answer to both, so we're used to it.
Yeah. So I was hoping Ron Rawls would hop in, and he may still, and if he does, we'll probably let him talk a little bit. But I don't know if everybody knows Ron. He's a Grammy Award-winning producer and keyboard player for Mandisa, and he also is the band director for Mandisa. So
oh, cool.
He gets around a little bit, and phenomenal keyboard player. And of course, I love their band, funky to the core. Before he actually joined with us, we started working with him on stuff that I used to watch him from on the stage with Mandisa and just love the band, funky band. I love them. And of course, Mandisa just blows it. She's just so stinking good, And but we're glad to have him on board. And I hope he hops in tonight because I'd love to hear from him as well and see what else going on there. So let's start just talking about bookings. Has it, you can raise your hand. Has booking completely come to a halt for you all?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And Alicia and Whitney, have you done anything since this has started?
Well, we just we've been doing stuff with like local churches, and then we're going to be filling in as worship leaders for a church that's like searching for a permanent worship leader. So that's been like a blessing to get, because a lot of our dates did get canceled the last few months.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. And in your areas, are you hearing of any concerts going on at all? Any types of anything? Nothing.
Just street ministries. I hear street ministries that are being done, but it just depends on the individual if they're willing to, how they take a stance on this COVID. Personally, me, I'm not trying to take any kind of risk.
Mm-hmm.
That's just
I hear you. Yeah. Yeah. Well, one of the things that I see that's a trend, and I was hoping to get the time to make a call today and find out what it would take, for this to happen for the indies, but I didn't get a chance to do this. So I'm hoping to be able to do that report on it before long. But there's a thing happening now where they're doing drive-in theater tours. So that way, it started with Toby Mac. He's in the middle of his tour right now, doing drive-in theater tours, sweeping across the country, and they set up the stage, and of course in front of the big screen, and everybody pulls in their cars and hangs out at the top of their cars, or backs in and sits on the back of the truck or whatever, So that way it's within the CDC guidelines, but they still get to hear everything, And that's such a great idea, but tickets are pretty expensive. It's so much, I think, per carload or so. I'm not sure exactly how they're doing that because I haven't gone yet, I know Casting Crowns is the third one to come out with. The one before that was, I think, Michael W. Smith was one I heard that's doing that. So I'm curious. I was going to try to talk to some of the people that are working tours and things like that and see if that's going to start becoming kind of a trend, or what's going on there. It might not be a bad idea for worship things too, besides just concerts, So, have you all heard of any of those kind of concerts coming to your area?
No.
Do you have a drive-in theater in your area?
Yes.
Yeah. Rose, do you have one in your area?
I'm really not sure. I don't think so. I think I've actually heard they've taken all of them out of this area, so I'm pretty sure we don't.
I guess we're behind times. We still have one in Fayetteville, Arkansas. So, isn't there one over close to you all in Branson?
I'm not sure. I don't think, not that I know of.
Okay. All right. Natasha, have you heard of any around Atlanta?
There's one that's been there for years, but I don't know if it's still open.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, so that's something I'm going to be checking in on. I see Melinda McClaskey going in here. Melinda, can you hear me?
Yes.
How are you? I don't see your video. Did you turn your video off?
Well, I didn't realize what time it was, and I was in the swimming pool, so my hair's wet.
Oh, okay. All right. You don't want anybody to see your hair.
Well, I can't even figure out how to get a video on there now.
It should be on the bottom left. It says stop video or start video, but
Okay.
anyway, can you see everybody else okay?
Oh
there
my
you are.
gosh, that was horrible.
It's all right. It's all right. So, we have a pretty good crew here now, and I was, telling them I hope that Ron Ross can hop in before we finish, because I'd like to hear from him. But we were talking about, just how gigs, of course, have stopped, and Alicia Whitney is doing some worship stuff locally. But that's about it. And I was talking about how there is a new trend coming now with drive-in theaters. There's a lot of concerts starting to happen at drive-in theaters right now. It started with Toby Mac. He's right in the middle of his tour now, doing a nationwide sweep with drive-in theater tour. And so people can pull in with their cars and, hang out at the top or back in and sit in the back of the truck or whatever, so they can stay within CDC guidelines and everything. So there is a local drive-in theater here. I'm going to be calling. Was hoping to get it done before today, but it hasn't happened yet. So I'll try to get that done this week or tomorrow if I can. Try to find out what it takes to get in something like that. But Toby Mac did it. Then Michael W. Smith started doing it, and now Casting Crowns is going out and doing it. And so, that's very interesting. I think I even saw a fourth one where there was a group of
Newsboys did it.
Newsboys. That's right. That was the fourth one. Newsboys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so that's awesome. And and then I heard that Garth Brooks jumped on the bandwagon, and he's doing a country tour, and he's done something like 400 drive-in theaters across the country over time, so because that will take a while to do that many of them. So that's a potential thing. Now, Alicia and Whitney, you can decide who wants to do the talking, but you had talked about potentially working a women's conference, and you're asking about pricing and how to do that and everything, but how far ahead are they working that?
Yeah, it was really tentative. They contacted us and were saying, and Illinois, so, with every state, there's different restrictions and things like that as well. But they were saying they were planning for in the fall but they just kind of wanted to know our pricing and things like that. And that's kind of something we're wanting to hear from other people as well. Like if you guys have a set like price when you go into a place, a lot of times we've just done like, honorariums or love offerings or whatever in the church. But we just kind of have been getting these questions of like, much you charge and all this stuff. And I know as artists, we're like, I hate talking about this side of things,
Mm-hmm.
but that's kind of like why we came to you, and we're just wondering, like, I don't know how to go about those things, or if other people have gone through it and kind of learned some pricing, techniques or whatever. So but yeah, they were kind of just planning for the fall, and just were asking us about that. But obviously, it's dependent on a lot of different things right now, if there's a resurgence of the number of cases or closed down again or whatever. But yeah, it just kind of stirred up that question of pricing. So
yeah. I may ask Melinda, if you can, do you mind sharing what you have done as far as pricing for women's conferences? Because I know you've done quite a few.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's hard. Like if I'm out and it's just me, then I can afford to do just pay for my expenses, pay for my hotel, pay for all of my food, and then a love offering on top of that, plus all of my merch, because I have a girl who travels with me everywhere I go. But if I have the bus comes with me and my driver and everybody, then it's going to be a whole nother situation. And so what I do is I just try to figure out how much it's going to cost to get to that location. And then I put that all up front at first. And I know that it's hard, but I've learned that it's a ministry, but it's also a business, and we can't be out of money all the time,
Mm-hmm.
And so I do a lot of women's ministry, women's conferences. And so if I'm going to do something, if I know it's small, then I'm not going to take my bus driver or my bus, because it's very expensive to drive a bus, And so I would just say, I would put all that up front and tell them to always pay for your expenses. And then just ask for a love offering. And if it's a smaller venue, I don't know where everybody's from, so it may be 500, it may be 1,000, it may be less than that, but you're going to know your venue better than, I just ask him how many he's going to come. One time I did a conference, and I kind of felt bad because I wasn't sure how many people were going to be there, and so I just said $500, and I'll come do it, and then just make sure that that will cover my gas, because it wasn't that far from my home. And then I felt bad because they only have 10 people show up. So I felt really bad. And so I started asking before in advance, how many people do you think are coming? And then, and what I've noticed is I can do a concert for 1,000 people, and then I can do a concert for 50 people, and more people at the 50 buy all my merch than the people at the 1,000. So it's pretty crazy. And I don't look like I do anything right now. I'm so sorry about my appearance.
Oh, no. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
I'm so embarrassed.
that was helpful. So that was good advice.
Okay, good. Yeah.
And I have another question to ask too about that. Now, do you provide contracts and honorarium? This is for everybody, but I'm asking specifically Melinda so that everybody can hear her answer. But talk about whether you do a contract, or whether you do a writer, or whether you just do a simple email. Do you ask for a deposit? Ever to help cover gas to get there, anything like that?
Usually, I've done a writer before, when I was with a previous group, and that always sometimes makes things so weird. And if you're going to do that, then you need to be very much a part of that, because there's things like me, on that writer they have provided for me, they said she needs her own private room, she needs her own private entrance, and I am just not that type of person. I'm just no, I want to see people. Don't let me be excluded from everybody else. I'm part of the ministry, And so now what I do is I like to be the one who talks to whoever's in charge. And when I get there, I have a merch manager. She goes everywhere with me. She goes right to that person that I've been talking to, and she collects money right then, because that way I know that I'm taken care of, And I've been on a tour before where some nights we didn't get paid because the guy that was in charge of the tour didn't didn't do what he needed to do. And so, you know, it's hard
Close out
being
the
an
back door
artist.
before it's over.
Yeah. Be like, I'm only giving you one song.
Yeah.
No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah. Well, it's not their fault, it's his, but anyway.
Yeah. So
Well,
I hope that
cool.
was helpful.
Yeah. So is there anybody else that has anything to add to that? Dell. Yeah, I know you've done tours, and that's with Colton and stuff. That's a whole different thing. But have you played for any worship things where you've been involved on the money side of things? Do you have anything to add to all of that, or?
It's essentially the same. So with us, we always have players with us. So I just have to factor in my expenses, right? Yeah. So depends on how much you're going to pay players, depends on how you're going to travel, if you're going to drive yourself or hire a driver, however you're going to go about that.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, it's going to cost a lot to get anywhere. I mean, and so I know it gets uncomfortable to ask for money, but if you don't, you're not going to do it very long, unless you're like a trust fund kid or something and you're just independently wealthy, then you can do that. But otherwise you have to like, it is, I know it's ministry, and I don't want to minimize that in any way, but it's also, it costs a lot to do it. So, you just, so the same basic principle. So we kind of we have like rings as we get further away from our home, like the price goes up, it's just for the sake of expenses, travel, lodging, everything. We start trying to factor in everything. Like the tour we were supposed to go on that ended up getting canceled because of this COVID. We're just planning out. I'm looking from town to town, mapping, looking at hotel costs, and I'm having to figure out everything. Okay, how much gas mileage does this vehicle get? Pulling a trailer loaded with gear. I have my guys. Okay, most of the time my guys are going to be fed at the places we go. Just try to think through every expense, and then as the distance, like as you get further from home, the price has to go up.
Yeah.
Incrementally. So.
And I too know that with your band, you use a tech writer, but you don't have another writer. Is that you have the writer like Melinda was talking about, where you have to enter, into a private door and have your own private room, and you have all the M&Ms in a bowl, and you have to pull all the green ones out before all that stuff. But you guys didn't have that. You just had a take writer, which simply is showing the placement of where, what equipment where, and the position.
Yeah, and and so I would say for us, like everybody's in a different spot, right? So where we are, we're starting to get to play with some mainstream artists. So we're in a little bit uncharted territory for us, right? It's like a different space. We're getting into kind of a different space as far as that goes.
Mm-hmm.
So as we do that, I don't have a lot of requirements. Just let me get on the stage and let me do what God made me to do. And so far that's opened more doors for us. So
cool.
And I'm not saying that, like, if we actually do have more success, I do want all of my, blue M&M separated out or whatever. But I don't really care. I'm on the same page as Melinda. Like, I want to serve people. I think I can get up there and we can execute our craft. But if I'm good to people compared to somebody else getting up there and killing it but being bad to people, we're gonna win every time. I mean, sorry, not to rabbit trail, but that'd be the best advice I could give. Love people like crazy.
In the early '90s, I played for a stage show in Eureka Springs, and I played bass. But that particular band, the band members and people on the front that sang and everything, we were the ones that actually, whenever the people walk in with their tickets, we would show them to their seat. And it was always fun because they didn't realize it was actually the band that was going to be on stage seating them. So we would have a little fun with that. We'd get to know the people, and of course, we would all have our own little things that we do. I would always say, yeah, they'd say, man, we've heard so much great stuff about the show, blah, blah, blah. I say, yeah, but the best one up there, of course, is the bass player. You got to watch him. The guy's fantastic, just stuff like this. And they didn't know I was the bass player. I was saying that at the time, just out of being funny, and then whenever I come out on stage, I'd see that the guy that told him that was actually the bass player. It was always fun watching reactions and stuff like that. But anyway, so I love that personal interaction with people, even before, the worship set or the concert or whatever it is that you're doing. It's kind of neat to be able to do that. And
I'd say for us, there's only two things we want to have answered besides the tech side. Is there going to be food? And can I change clothes somewhere? That's it.
Yeah.
Besides that, we're good to go.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And if there's not going to be food, then you got to go get some, right? You'll know. At least you'll know.
I don't even need to show y'all the rest of me for y'all to know the answer to that question.
I saw a post. I still laugh at that. I saw a post from Dell on Instagram. It said, for those of you that keep asking, my tire size is blah, blah. On my vehicle, so anyway, nobody's laughing but me. I guess me and Dale knows what that means, but so the joke is, I guess he's big enough. They were wondering if his tires would support him on his car. Yeah. Pretty funny.
Is it though? I mean, if you have to explain it, is it? It's funny.
I don't know. Everybody kind of. There was a couple of them that was giving me a blank stare, like I don't get it, But anywho, so Ron Rawls, where are you, buddy? Let's go around and let's now that I've started the recording, let's go around and introduce everybody again, because Melinda missed out on that. And I don't remember if Alicia, I think she came in after we did introductions too. So let's start right here with Kim Ruiz.
Hello, my name's Kim Reese. My Christian rap is GLOW. It stands for God's Love Only, and I'm out of San Antonio, Texas.
All right. Let's go over to Rose.
Hi, my name is Rose Owuku. I am a full-time worship pastor in Texas. I've been in ministry since I was in high school, and I'm really excited to be here.
All right. And she's brand new, starting actually tomorrow, but she's actually starting tonight. So, all right. Do both Alicia and Whitney want to talk, or do you just want one of you to talk? Okay. Go ahead.
Well, I'm Alicia, then that's Whitney, and we're sisters and singer-songwriters, and our ministry, well, we grew up in a musical family, but our ministry really started after we lost our dad to cancer in 2013, and the Lord just began downloading songs, and we found healing through that process. And so since then, we've been traveling around with the music we wrote during that time and more, and just sharing our testimony, and that there's hope and healing found in Christ, and he turns our ashes into beauty.
We have a brand new song that's getting ready to go out that was recorded by Sean Hill. Very, very quality song. I'm excited to get that out here within the next few weeks. Dell, you're next, buddy.
Yeah, I'm Dale. I'm from the Natural State. Like I said before, just a drummer. So, yep. Haley would be here. She just had a baby about a week ago. Just had a baby about a week ago. So her hands are full. She has a 3-year-old also. So her hands are kind of full right now. But yep, we're in Chattanooga, Tennessee. It's about 2 hours south of Nashville if you're not from Tennessee. So, yep, we're working on some new music too. Excited about what's happening.
And, if you didn't hear, Adele, the band did a tour last year with Colton Dixon and Manic Drive. And that was awesome. I got to go hang out with them in Oklahoma. Where was that? I remember it was an old stage with a lot of, I'm trying to remember what.
Yeah, it was like an old theater. I don't
remember.
remember.
Yeah,
Oklahoma.
I can't remember either.
That's
Somewhere in
close.
Oklahoma. I remember we went to Eskimo Joe's on the way home, so it was over that in that direction.
Yeah, between Tulsa and Oklahoma City.
Yeah, and so, but they had another plan to go out again with Colton Dixon, Manic Drive, and then this time with Citizen Way. Of course, COVID had other plans. So, all right, let's move over to Natasha. Tell me about yourself.
Hello, everyone. I am Natasha Phillips. I am a singer and songwriter out of Atlanta, Georgia. Nice to meet everyone.
Awesome. Melinda, you're on the bottom right. If you were on the top left, I would have started with you. So, but that's good.
Hi, my name is Melinda McGlasson. I'm not usually late, but I was tonight. And I live in the panhandle of Oklahoma where the wind comes sweeping down the plain, and I'm not kidding about that. So anyways, my husband and I pastor in Guyman, Oklahoma, and I like Alicia and Whitney. I started doing all my music on this side of the world. Started doing it whenever I had cancer. So they told me I had ovarian cancer, and then 2 months later I had thyroid cancer, and then the Lord just began to open up door after door. So anyway, here I am.
Yes.
Alive.
She has been healed. She has seen healing. So she's had quite an awesome testimony.
I love
it. It's been a great thing. Good. All right. Well, I'm going to have to harass Ron and tell him he'll have to make the next one. So I want to start doing this once a month. I'd schedule an hour, but we don't have to stay an hour just because, if we run out of stuff to say, I don't want to waste your time, us just sitting here looking at each other unless you just want to, but, I want to chat about something. Have any questions that you would like to see, answered or anything like that? But I also want to think of a topic for the next one. I'd like to start doing this at least once a month if possible, just to get together, maybe talk about a different topic and see where everything's going and see what everybody's doing. And it's cool to meet, for everyone to meet each other too,
Yeah.
And we used to try to have we've had several where we would have the MMGI conference, artist conference, and we've had those typically in Nashville. But we started to have one in Branson at one point, and I think we ended up having to cancel it just because everybody started canceling. And now I couldn't go, and so we didn't have enough to accommodate everything. So we decided to wait. But I love the idea that we have this technology where we can all get together on Zoom now and do it from the comfort of our own home, and where it's a lot easier and much cheaper for everyone, so much less expensive. But so is there anything in particular that y'all have questions about, or trends, or comments, or anything at all that y'all would like to discuss?
I have a question just regarding releasing new music. As you know, the two of us, we've been preparing for the new single to be released. Mm-hmm. Just with issues with COVID-19 and not being able to do shows, because like in Atlanta, most of our churches haven't even opened back up. We're still doing church online, and our pastor is hoping to come back up on July 12th, but our church is so big, there's really no way to social distance in a church with like thousands of people. But with that being said, releasing new music, do you think it's a good time, now or even future months with everything that's taken place this year? Will we even to promote it like, normally would?
Well, I can answer that. I can say that, I see every Friday more songs than I typically see being released right now. I think people are concentrating on more online focusing, to sending stuff out to radio, getting stuff to Spotify and promoting that, and many other things. So there's even more reason to do it now, just because of that. Because, with social media, there's a lot more people who seem to be on social media now than normal too, because they're not running all the time, you know. And so the only way they can seem connected is to get on, you know, Facebook, see what everybody's doing. And so, you know, not only do I say that, you know, but I yeah, I'm seeing a upward trend even with the labels releasing. It seems like more songs than normal. So, so I would say yes. Let's keep that up.
Okay.
Yeah, and I know we're waiting on a video for you, but as soon as that's done, we're going, you know, we're going to be pushing forward with a new release for you. Alicia and Whitney's getting ready to do one, and then we're going to do a little bit different with them. But they're doing a lyric video, I believe, right? And then we're going to do a kind of a 3-punch with you guys. We're coming out in July with a song release and radio at the same time, and then in August, we're going to be sending a press release out for Alicia Whitney about the podcast. And because that's going to be a good time to send everybody to vote for the podcast, which is being nominated for a Spin Award. So, Alicia, why don't you tell everybody the name of your podcast? Tell a little bit about that.
Okay. It's called Coming Up Higher. And we just talk about, you know, coming up higher, like in Revelation, when the Lord told John, come up higher, and I can tell you what will take place after this. And it's just talking about as worshipers, we're to rise above negativity and rise above just the things that everybody else focuses on and gets caught up in. Like, we want to focus on what God's doing. And so we interview people that have come up higher in their life circumstances, or to hear their testimonies and things like that. And so that's what our podcast is about.
Cool. And you've also written, or it's been Whitney mostly that's written the book, right? You've written 2 books.
I muted myself. Yeah, I've written 2 books. The first one's Beauty for My Ashes, which is how to have healthy ways to cope with grief when you lose a loved one, but doing it like with God. And then the second one is for singles. It's about pursuing God, your purpose, and healthy relationships. And then Alicia actually is going to be releasing a book later this year that she wrote.
Awesome.
Called Reset, Recalibrate, and Restore. So.
And Rose has mentioned that she's interested in writing a book as well, and maybe a devotion, you know, that kind of thing. So it might be good to coordinate some stuff with you guys so you can talk more about that. Another question about the book stuff. Do you felt that that's helped you with getting gigs? When, you know, whenever you release your book, it will not only just give you more things to sell at your merch table, but as far as doing television appearances and that kind of thing, has having a book helped with that?
I don't think it's necessarily helped us get like more gigs, but it's definitely given us more material to talk about, like when we're on TV shows, and definitely helps having it on the merch table, because that's like a higher kind of price item that you can have, that isn't super costly. But so yeah, it's definitely good. Like, it diversifies your ministry. And then I think that having books has kind of helped open up some like speaking things as well. Yeah, because they know you do more than, you know, sing, you write and teach and things like that. So that's helped in that regard, I'd say.
Cool. Good. All right. And then, you know, we said in August we're going to do the press release talking about that. And then we're going to do another press release in, September, to talk about the lyric video and to reblast to the stations and that kind of thing, just to have another reason to go out for press release and also for that. So, all right, guys, anything else you can think of? Any other questions? That was a good question, Natasha, and it started a whole other line of stuff. So
I have a comment. If any of you guys are in the Atlanta area and you have a show or an event, keep me updated and I'll come and support. So I don't know if that's something we can put in our group, but you know, if you're ever in Atlanta, I'll come out and I'll definitely support you. And we can even collaborate on shows if that's possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. And I mean, Atlanta is only, what, 4 hours from Nashville. So
I'm only about 15 minutes from Sean, so I'm not
Yeah.
too far.
yeah. Yeah, so anybody goes to record with Sean, you could go hang out with
Yeah.
coffee or something and talk over and stuff. So you'll have to connect next time you go over to record with that big tall drink of water.
Yeah.
He's a nut, ain't he? He is hilarious to hang around with and stuff. Dell is recording. Those guys are recording with. Tell me again his name.
Keith Everett Smith.
Keith Everett Smith. Yeah, and he's his wife is an artist on. I'm trying to remember what label she's on. But tell me again.
BEC, Tasha Layton.
Yeah, BEC.
She has a song that came out. I think it's called "It's Gonna Be Okay" or something.
Yeah. What is her name?
Tasha Layton.
Yeah, Natasha Layton. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
And then he's also a trumpet player for Toby Mac for his band, and so he's on the road a lot. But he's a phenomenal producer. But quite a bit higher, quite a bit more expensive than Sean Hill. So, but he's good. And so that's some good stuff. What's go ahead.
Have you guys, like, just a question has anybody felt like God's inspired them with some new songs during this time, like being quarantined more, or like, do you feel like some new fruit is coming out of all of this? I'm just curious to hear the artistic side.
Yeah, I got like a whole new album ready to record, but my producer caught COVID, so
No.
I'm sort of leery of him coming to my house and things like that. So it's just I'm waiting on when God releases us to come together again.
How is he doing, by the way?
Well, the last I heard, he was doing a lot better, but he wanted to wait another week before connecting again. But I thought about it, and I was like, well, let's stretch out that week to maybe a month, because make sure it's all off of you, because I just don't want to, because sometimes we might jump into things a little bit too soon, and
yeah,
I'm not trying to do that. Yeah, the songs are there, you know what I mean. I'm thankful for them. They're not going anywhere right now, so.
And we'll work in your current album, but she has a single coming up. It's kind of a surprise, but do you mind if I tell them what we're doing with this single?
I don't know.
It's going to be featuring KJ52, also known as, his real name is Jonas Sorrentino, but it's KJ52, the hip hop rapper guy that has won something like 7 double awards or whatever. He's
Awesome.
Christian rap world. So that's neat. We're going to be doing that. Looks like we might have another song coming up for Clay Cross that will probably be going to Nashville to record. Leslie Woods is work. She's not here today. She's sick today, by the way, so she couldn't make it. But she, is writing a song, and we're probably going to be featuring her, featuring John Katina on her song. So she'll be going to Nashville part to record that one as well. Just because we have a guy that's going to be helping. He's a producer, but he's going to be helping co-write it, and then he's going to be recording it as well. A guy that just moved from San Diego out to Franklin, and that's where John Katina is at. So that's going to be featuring John Katina. John Katina doesn't know it yet, but he's going to be featured on this. We'll be doing that. So I know he won't mind. But and we're getting ready to pitch another song out for Melinda too. She's just been waiting on me to get it done and get it out there. I've still got some work to do, but as soon as I'll try to have that out ready to go by next week, Melinda, so we can get that out. And we got to get the press release done for that as well. So that's another thing. All right. Any other questions? Anything else happening?
Make sure everybody's liking each other's pages.
Yeah, do that and invite some of your fans to the other people's pages, you know.
Yes. And I like to share artists' music on my page and tell people to go to them. And so anyway, just an idea.
That's a great idea. It's a great idea. And so make sure everybody's doing that. And we're only missing one, and we could have been like the Brady Bunch here. Because we're missing one square on the bottom to be like the Brady Bunch. But if it wasn't for that, that would have been cool. Well, we are finishing with 10 minutes left to go. Anything else anybody want to talk about? Alicia, do you mind if I ask you to say a blessing before we leave?
Oh, yeah, no
mind
problem.
Praying?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Lord, we just thank you that we get the honor of serving you with our gifts and our talents that you've given us to just return back to you as our offering of praise in whatever capacity that is. And I just thank you for each and every person here who is doing that, who's chasing after what you called them to do, God, and is doing it for the ministry, is doing it for the heart of it, and for proclaiming your word. And we thank you for Jeff, who is using his giftings and as a manager and marketing and all that he does, Lord, that you've created him to push your purpose forward and to push your sound forward. So I thank you for each individual and their unique frequency and their unique sound that they bring to the earth for such a time as this. And I pray blessings over each and every one of them. I pray for finances to come so that they can record and do the kingdom work that you've asked them to, that we can get that out in the airwaves. I pray for safety and health over each and every one of them and their families, God. And may you just empower them with a new level of fresh wind of creativity to come forth, because we need the ministers of reconciliation and the ministers that are carrying your sound to go forth in this hour, Lord. And we thank you that we get to be a part of what you're doing in the earth right now. So bless each and every person that's on this Zoom call and their families. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Good. Thank you, Lisa. I didn't tell her ahead of time I was going to do that. And I just kind of dropped it on her all of a sudden. So sorry about that. It's a surprise you like that.
All good.
And so, all right.
Can we get a picture?
Sorry?
Can we get a picture of the screen with everybody?
Oh, yeah. Okay? Are you able to do that?
Well, just with my phone.
Okay.
I could do a screenshot, I guess, if I wanted, but
I don't know how to do one exactly. Do you guys know?
I'll do this, and then I'll do a screenshot.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So I'll do
a screenshot.
Okay. So I'll do this first. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then I'll do a screenshot. 1, 2, 3. Oh, hold on a second. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right.
Good. So I'm going to take the recording of this and stick it on a private, like, YouTube channel or whatever, so that it's not public. But I'm going to post this in MMGI family, so the ones that weren't able to come can watch it, and everything. Sorry, Melinda. I know you probably didn't want to hear that, but yeah.
Just please look at my artist pictures. I look so much better.
Well, there's a reason I'm not an artist.
I do have one funny thing. So
Okay.
we were setting up at a women's conference, and I had pulled up one of my banners. I brought my one that, like, it just pulled up, and I'm talking about the smaller banners. Anyway, and this lady came up to the table and she said, when will Melinda be here? And I said, I am her. I was like, I've been traveling all day. I look horrible.
Was it? Yeah, this is before you put your face on it and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Well, I can say that Dell looks the same on stage as he does.
Yes, I'm just the drummer. Like there's no. Just
Yeah.
put me in the dark. So.
Yeah. It's good. All right. Well, I will let you go. I'm going to shut this off. Let's do this again. Let's start doing this at least once a month, if not sooner. If we have another topic that we feel is a little more urgent, we want to get in and talk about, let me know. We'll schedule a Zoom, see who else we can get on here. But when everybody sees how much fun we had, they're going to be wishing they'd have made it, and hopefully we'll make the next one. So
Sounds good.
And Alicia, be sure and send me those screenshots. All right.
Whitney.
Whitney. Thank you, Whitney.
Bye.
Yeah, so you get to see my scatterbrainness on this as well. All right. Bless y'all. Talk soon.
Nice to meet you.
Bye.
You all too.
See ya.